3, 2, 1, action. Hello. Today I have a couple things that I'm gonna, two topics, they may be integrated at some point, but they're really entirely two topics. And I was telling Sean earlier, I always think I'm gonna need enough material, so I'll need to have one or two things instead of just one, and then I run out of time on one. But I think we'll get through both because I think they're both fun things to discuss. And I'm going to open up with a number here. I'll start off on the Freedom 3 by Esty. And let's see, let me put on a song setup, hit select. And what my question for you, because this is going to be a little bit of a group participation today, is when I get done with the song, I'll ask you, and I'm going to come over to the dry erase board in a moment. But the question is, and be thinking about this, is what song setup did I use to play this song? Okay? And a big round of applause. Sorry, a little Esty here. Every big round of applause. I don't hear a big round of applause yet.
Great job, great job.
There we go. We got
Okay.
This thing needs a little round of applause once in a while. Okay, so what song setup did I use to play that song? Anybody? Anybody? Raise hands. Unmute yourself. Jump in anytime. And the rule is somebody has to answer, because even if it's the wrong answer, but there is no... What's that?
6/8 blues?
Nope, that might have been a style, but I didn't use that style. The question is, what song setup?
Oh, what song setup?
What song setup did I use? So when you go through your song setup titles, you have a list of song setups in the organs. Now, if you don't have a song setup, this particular portion of the class is going to apply for those who have the songs that are recorded in the organ, okay? So keep that in mind. So even if you have a basic model that has just the songs, this particular class is going to pertain. It's the same idea. The song setup that I used, well, let me ask you this. What song did I play?
In the Mood.
Nope.
Sounded like a
I
couple.
have no idea.
All right, I'm going to keep the dry erase board here, and I'm going to play just a couple notes. Let me bring up my song setup. Here we go. Now, what I have to say is I've been playing that song for years, and I don't know what the name of it is. So I was hoping you could tell me.
Tuxedo Junction.
Oh, Tuxedo Junction, that's right. But then I went into another song afterwards. I went to this.
Night Train.
What is it?
Night Train.
Night Train. So let me ask you again. What song setup do you think I used when I was looking for the song setup? Which song setup did I use?
Cabaret.
Well, this is where I stump everybody. Here's the song setup that I actually looked for when I went to the organ. You'll see it in a second. Give me a minute. When the saints go
Oh, marching
march,
by.
marching
Oh, okay.
in.
Marching
Now,
in.
did I play When the Saints Go Marching In?
No.
No. And what happens is, so often what happens is we go through the list of song setups that you have in the instrument. Now, again, this pertains to also if you have songs that are recorded in the organ. Now, I asked Sean to pull up an owner's manual. Do you have the owner's manual? Does it have a list of the song setups in that one?
Which one? The marquee one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so most manuals have it in there. So why don't you pull up the owner's manual? The owner's manual is very helpful to have, and if you have a digital manual, there's something you can do. Now, this doesn't have to do with a marquee. This is just so I can show you a list. So go ahead and pull that up. 3, 2, 1, action. Pull that up.
Okay. I got it.
Pull it up now.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Sean is being in a defiant mode today. He's like, I'm pulling up when I'm ready. Okay, so here is a list of song setups. Obviously, this particular model has a lot of them, but some organs have 100 titles, some have 50, some have 25, some have 300. It doesn't matter. You have a list of song setups. And if you scroll in, let me see if you zoom in a little bit. Just zoom in real close because it's kind of small. All right, so you see there's one that says do, re, mi, don't be cool. Stop right there. Stop. Okay. All right, so I mentioned do, re, mi. Now, so those are song setup titles. So when you select it, it does what it says. It sets up the organ for you to play that song, okay? There's there a song list on here? No, probably not. It might mention it in the 50 songs.
There is.
The recordings?
Yeah.
Now,
Right above this.
some of the manuals have a feature where if you go to the home feature, oh, it's right there, actually. Okay, so here's 50 songs that are recorded on the USB. Now, some of the organs, the beginner's models, have some of these. We have, I know Marianne, When the Saints Go Marching In is one of them. A lot of these song titles. So what happens is most students, when they're trying to find a song they want to play, they tend to look for the song setup or a song, and they go, let me hear what they have set up. And then you don't find the title, and what happens is we avoid it. Now, go ahead and exit the screen. So if you're looking up on here, if you could see that I wrote the title, When the Saints Go Marching In. I used the song setup, song set up. I selected When the Saints Go Marching In, knowing that I didn't want to play When the Saints Go Marching In today as an opening number. If you could see that okay still? Okay. All right. What happened was I chose When the Saints Go Marching In, and I decided to play what I wanted to play. And what were the two songs I played? What was the
Tuxedo
first?
Junction.
Tuxedo Junction. Okay.
Night
And what was-
Train.
Night Train. So what happens is your song setups, literally every song setup you have on your instrument or song, even a song recording, you can use to find setups for other songs. Now, I'm going to come back over, and I'm going to leave the board here, and I'm going to hit the introduction of the song setup for When the Saints Go Marching In Again, and I want you to listen to that, and I'll even let it play for a few measures without me playing a song, and then I'll do an ending, and I want you to tell me, think about what song comes to mind for you. Okay, here we go. Here's a fill-in. Here's the ending. All right, one more time. Okay, so I played a little bit of that style. What songs come to mind for you? What would be a good song to play with that style you just heard? Now, I'm not going to tell you the name of the style. Bob Delaney raised
On
his
the
hand.
sunny
Go
side
ahead,
of the
Bob.
street. On the sunny
On the
side
sun.
of the
Okay,
street.
let me write this down over here. On sunny. Oops, I got to learn how to spell. Side of street. Okay, any others? Anyone else? Put your thinking caps on. Here we go again.
Try Blue Moon.
Blue Moon?
Yeah.
That the one that goes Blue Moon, da 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 da. Okay, I don't know if I could play that one, but maybe I'll find the music. Any other guesses? Here, play it one more time. What kind of style does that sound like?
Swing.
Swing. What else? Big band, kindy. So what other songs could we play with that? I want one more answer. I can't.
Little Brown Jug.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, Jude.
I put in my notes today, don't go to the next example until I get three, at least three. And you can do it. Here's the funny thing, guys. You want to know something funny? No matter what you say is probably the right answer. Because there is no wrong answer. It's just a matter of, do you want to play it with a big band? I've heard everything under the sun with big band style. I remember once upon a time, I was down in Mexico, and I was hearing popular songs in the States that would normally not be a Latin flavor, and they were playing it all in that Latin Mexican style, and it worked. So I'm going to leave that up on the board there. Here's what I did. The first two you heard already. Let's, on the sunny side of the street, I know a few of those notes. Here we go. Okay, that works. Someone said a little brown jug. Can you play Hey Jude? Absolutely. Might sound a little big. I don't think I know the song without the music. Let's see. Blue Moon, Blue Moon. I don't know that Blue Moon without the music, but you could play any song you want. The point I'm making here is when you're going through the song setup list, don't let song titles prevent you from using that song setup to play something else. Now, I'm going to erase this. I'm going to do one more example. Okay. And let me carefully move this without this unplugging myself. Now, you'll notice today, folks, I purposely am starting my class today on the easies and the esties, and then I'm going to go backwards. Usually we start on the big one, say if you happen to have this, we're doing it an opposite. But I'm going to put a song setup on that I really was looking at through the list here, and I'm going to hit intro, and then I'm going to play a song, and then I want you to think, what song setup did I use, okay? Can you all see that okay in the screen there? Am I spotlighted? I have my view on gallery so I could see if people are paying attention to me, see if anybody's sleeping. Okay, here we go. Okay. I think I played 3 songs there. So, what song setup? Well, actually, maybe I should start with the songs. What songs did I play?
Barcelona.
Eyes.
Spanish guys.
Okay,
Blue
Spanish
Bayou.
Eyes was one of them.
Marianne.
Barcelona.
Okay,
There.
Spanish Eyes.
And
Marianne at the end there. And what was the first one I played? Anyone catch that?
Blue Bayou.
Barcelona. This is Barcelona.
No?
south of the border.
Blue Bayou.
Nope. I hope I played the right song. Joni, do you know what song I played?
Blue Bayou.
Nope. I'll play it again. Here we go. Ready?
Blue Bayou.
I thought it was Lady of Spain.
It was Lady of Spain.
It was Lady of Spain. Bob, you're making me second guess myself now.
That was the interlude
I've been
from
playing
Blue
that song for
Bayou.
many years. I've always said it's Lady of Spain. Well, there you go. There's your homework. You can go on YouTube and see if that melody matches. I'm going to put question mark, but I believe it's Lady of Spain.
Lady of Spain, I adore you.
Isn't that the name of the song?
No, Blue Bayou.
Lady of Spain is right.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Lady of Spain is right.
We've
I
got
play
a
it all the
heated
time.
debate going on here. Whew. It's too early for politics, so we won't do that today. But I think that's the song that I played. Now, here's the more important question. What song setup did I use to play those songs? Anyone want to
Latin.
guess?
Latin
So that was,
guitar.
okay, now, whoever answered that, that's the rhythm that came up, but I searched through the song setups, and when I pressed one of the song setups, the song titles, Latin guitar is the rhythm that it gave me. Okay, so that's correct, but what song setup do you think? We got a,
Marianne.
Judy?
Spanish.
Judy?
From Ipanema.
That, well, that might be, I'm not sure. Might be the same setup. The answer is, someone just said it, I used your favorite song,
Marianne.
Marianne.
No.
The
Grow.
problem with the song Marianne is it's such a basic song for people to get started, to learn the song, but the way that chords and the melody, it becomes a song that's not as appealing to play anymore. But it's a song setup nonetheless. And that song setup very quickly gives you really, what it did was, is it gave me some marimbas on the top keyboard, and I'll talk about this a little further. It's going to lead me to my part 2 today. And it gave me a guitar sound on the bottom. Now, I don't know what it'll do on the bigger models, but it's going to be a good setup no matter what. So let me go back over here. By the way, the first song setup I did, When the Saints Go Marching In, was on the Freedom 3, and it put on a big band style. It put on swing time is what they call it. If I put When the Saints Go Marching In over here, let's see. Let's see what style it gives me. When the Saints Go Marching In. Oh.
Razzmatazz.
No, well, on the bigger models, it may give you razzmatazz. On here, it gives me this. It actually gives me a gospel style, the hand clapping gospel style. So what's kind of interesting is a lot of the models, there's a lot of similarities in the song setups, but there's actually some changes. But that's okay. The point is, find a song setup you typically wouldn't play because maybe it's a song you don't like. Or maybe it's a song you're over it, or whatever the case is. In this case, I went to Marianne, and we got what you heard, which is the Latin guitar style. Gave me this setup. What's another great song that will work with that? Someone mentioned Girl from Ipanema, which is in the Black Songbook. That'll work too. Here's another song that just came into mind.
Yellow Bird.
No, it's a blackbird. Oh, that's a different song. Yeah, you're right. Yellow Bird it is. So the cool thing is what I tell people is we have a tendency of going through the song setup and finding a title of a song we're going to play because maybe that's the song we have up on the music rack at the time, right? And if we find it, great. If we don't, we just find something else. But if you're going through, some people will go through the song setup list and they'll say, well, let me try this one. I like that song. But what a lot of people tend to do, maybe it's not you, maybe it's not you. I'm pointing at some of you. Maybe it's not you, Ron. Maybe you're not that kind of a guy. Maybe you're a little more open-minded about song setups. But if you go to song setup and you find a song title you just absolutely like, I hate that song. And you'd be surprised that it might give you a setup for something you can use totally different. Here's one more, the Marianne. I'm on the Inspire over here. See if you can name the style that it gives me. Anyone know what style that came up? Now this was Marianne. This was song set up Marianne on the Inspired. Anybody guess what style that is?
Parrot buffet.
It is a parrot buffet. Parrot buffet. Because you can kind of hear that Jimmy Buffett. What's the song? What is the song? What is it?
Margaritaville.
Margaritaville.
Yeah.
Margaritaville, yeah. So, yeah, obviously if I use Margaritaville, it might use the same style. But it's really cool when you go to the song setup just find one. You just, I'm never going to play that song. Let's see here. Let me find one that I probably, well, here's one. Oops. Here's one that some people say, well, I'll wait till it's Christmas or the holiday season. It says, Let It Snow. But I'm not going to play that right now. Let me see what I get. The style came up as country swing.
Right.
So if you have song setups, and this applies also to the pre-recorded songs. So if you have pre-recorded songs, the trick with the pre-recorded songs is it'll actually play that song. You just got to remember one thing if you're using the pre-recorded songs. Find a pre-recorded song you don't like or may not ever listen to. Let it start up, play a couple measures, and then just press stop. Turn off the song setup. Okay? That's very important. And then play whatever song you want to play. Now, any questions before I go on to part 2?
Yes. Yes.
Yes? Someone said yes.
That
Who
Judy?
said that? Judy!
So you're saying it doesn't matter what the time signature is, whether it's 4/4 or 3/4, you can interchange those?
No.
You can. Some songs you can. In fact, you can play almost any, but here's an example. A lot of styles actually have what's called a 6/8 or 3/4.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, Amazing Grace is typically found in easy play as a 3/4. So let me put on a 3/4 style and just put on as just a simple, this is what I would usually play it with, a Southern 3/4. A 3/4. All right, and that would work because it's a 3/4 and a 3/4. But let me change it up a little bit. Let me put on a gospel. How about gospel ballad? I think that one is 4/4. Let's listen. Yep, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's try it. Now, was I in time? Absolutely. So you can interchange styles. Now, here's the beauty of this. If it doesn't work for you, then you just go on to the next one. But you'll find a lot of song setups and styles for other songs just by going to the ones that you typically wouldn't listen to in the song list or the song setups. Okay? Some of the models have 100 song setups in them, and half of them get used. What about the other half? That's 50. You might discover styles on your instrument that you never would use. Okay? So any other questions? Speak now, forever hold your peace. 3, 2, 1. Oh, that's it. All right. Now, as I was playing, I wanted to talk about this today because I think this is equally an important topic. A lot of times song setups will do something for you. They'll obviously set up ideally a tempo and a speed for that song. Now, for example, when I did When the Saints over here, I played Night Train and the other song, whatever I played there, and Tuxedo Junction. Someone mentioned Blue Moon. Well, that rhythm style would work. You may have to adjust the tempo. That's normal. But it'll always set up some sounds on the top and the bottom keyboard if you have a lower split. But a lot of times what it'll do is it'll set up some harmonies for you. Like when I put on Marianne over here, I don't know if you caught this, but it gave me this real nice, pretty marimba sound, but with a harmony. Okay? And in a lot of the organs, you have these harmonies. This is without a harmony. Now watch. In the case of the marimba, which was really cool, is when I pressed the button, it said Duet Harmony, which basically means two, okay? And when I press that one note, it takes two marimbas and it plays them back and forth for you automatically. All right, I'm going to do a short version description of some of the harmonies that all of the models have, and I'm not going to be able to do them all because the top of the line model has 15 different harmonies. Now, here's a cool little feature. If you pull up the owner's manual and go to the index, the beginning, or whatever you call it, the table of contents, Sean. Some models have, he's putting up his finger. He's saying, you wait. I'll pull it up when I'm ready. Okay. So some owner's manuals, if you have them on a PDF file, if you see this little home option that's there, if you move your mouse around that little home looking thing so people see that, you see him moving his mouse around there? What's really cool is some of the manuals are touch, is that the right way to say that? Is click sensitive? What's the word?
Interactive.
Yeah, so basically, you scroll down, and you'll notice, you'll scroll down.
It wasn't letting me. Yeah.
Sean is in a disobedient mood today. He's like, no, scroll down further to the table of contents. Keep going. I love this because I can pick on Sean in the moment. Okay, so you'll see they have all these things in there, and what happens is if you click on one of them, let's say click on the one that says let's get started, power on, and just click on that. All right, and it pulls them right to that section. Now that's not what we want, so down at the bottom of the screen I believe there's a home button. It brings you right back. The other cool thing, do you have the search menu in there in your PDF? Type in harmony. If you don't have the interactive touch, what'll happen is sometimes, look at that, it highlights on the computer. If you have a PDF of your owner's manual, it'll highlight it. Now that's not really the exercise today. This was kind of like as an aside. So go ahead and click the harmony. And I believe a little further. Okay. All right. Can you all see that little harmony? Maybe you can just zoom in on the main harmony. There we go. Scoot it over to the left a little bit. There we go. All right. Judy and Sharon, I see you in my little video monitor. Just by a nod of a head. Can you see that okay? Okay. So there are all the harmonies. Now, some organs have two of these, some have one of these, some have all of these, some have... The point is these harmonies all do different things. And I'm going to just touch on a few of them today, the ones that I know almost everybody will have. Did you find that other chart, by the way? Okay.
It's real nice, yeah.
Say it again?
I said yes.
Okay. So this is really cool. Now what I'll do is I'll focus on AOC because almost everybody has that, duet, and probably another common one is I think it's open AOC. All right. So let's start with AOC. And then Sean's going to put up on the screen. And the point of this is, if you're not, before you do that, the point of this is if you are not using harmonies, I'm going to implore you to do it from time to time, because what happens is a harmony, there's a lot of students out there that play, and they learn to play more than one finger on their right hand. They go, well, I like to play those. But what harmonies do is it allows you to play 3 notes, 4 notes, and 5 notes with one finger for every note. If you're playing a song that's a faster melody, it's not possible for anyone to do that, even the best in the world. That's why there are big bands, because there's many musicians doing it all together. Well, what a harmony does for a student is, by literally the touch of one note, you can bring in as many band members that you want. So go ahead and pull up the, what did I say, AOC? And I'm going to, as he's pulling that up, let me set up the instrument.
So what you're seeing here is on the top left, it says examples, it says AOC. So on the top of that, it's telling you that if you press a C melody note, that's what's on top, and it's going to add those other 2 notes right below it, the G and the E.
So if you take, are you able to draw a circle?
Here, I'll do this too, so it's not a ton of things all at once here.
Yeah, just
Zoom
zoom
in a
in
little
just in on that.
There we go. So that's how we have
Okay.
to work out.
So you see the C note there on the very first example there. You have a C chord. What it does, in short, is it takes the note, and I might be repeating what he just said. It takes whatever note you are playing. In the very first example there, very beginning there, you'll see it says C, G, and E. So if I'm playing the C note, if I'm playing that note, what the organ will do when AOC is on is it'll add what the very next 2 notes below the melody note automatically for you. All you have to do is play C, or whatever the song calls for. In this case, this person, if I was playing these notes, it would be C, E, then an E, G. Those would be the notes that I would normally see in the music. What the organ will do, because easy play music doesn't look like this. Easy play music just has the one note. What the organ will do with the AOC is it'll add the other notes below it automatically. So as an example, I'm going to put on just a nice, good standard. All right. Now what I'm going to do is put on just a standard Latin style, ballroom Latin with some strings. And I'm going to play a 1 note here. Let me turn off that touch feature real quick. Touch feature, touch, select. Okay. So here we go. We have I have some strings ensemble. Okay. I'm just playing 1 note, no harmony. All right. Now, I'm going to put on the harmony or what did I say? AOC. Here we go. Now let's see if you hear the difference. Oops. Gotta turn it on, right? Put on the strings 1 on. Here we go. Ready? With harmony. Without. With harmony. Now, to make it more obvious, some of the strings are, because they're a smoother sound, I'm going to put on just a nice classic Oh, we'll put on a full organ sound without harmony. Okay, that's without harmony. Here's with harmony. Notice the difference. Without harmony. With harmony. Now, what I mentioned was in that chart is what it does is it takes the note you're playing, and when you turn on the harmony, in the AOC's case, it finds the next two notes down that fit the chord that I'm playing. It does it automatically. And the reason I get, the question I typically get is, why does it play the next two notes down? It's because the melody is easily heard when harmony notes are added below it on the instruments. Okay? Here's an example. I'm going to manually play, or try to, it's not easy to do, Spanish Eyes, playing the melody note and adding the harmony notes as close to the way I think AOC would do it. Okay, I know we're recording this, but you got me on my hands and my knees. I'm not begging. Here we go. Get this. All right, can you see it? Now you should be able to hear the song Spanish Eyes, yes? Let me see some heads shaking. Sharon, Gary, Kathleen. And that's Sean really shaking his head. Now I'm going to play the same song, but this time I'm going to move the melody note somewhere else. And I'm going to manually play it, okay? You may notice that it's Spanish Eyes, only because it's the song I'm featuring, but watch how the melody somewhat gets a little lost. Okay, so before I was doing this, now I'll start here. Now, can you tell that was Spanish Eyes? Maybe, because well, I told you that's the song I was playing, but you notice how the melody kind of gets a little lost now. Now let's do it again differently. That's not easy to do. It's a lot easier if I put on AOC and just do this. So that is the AOC option, which most of you have. Another common one that most models have is called Duet. Now, do you have that up on the chart, Sean?
I sure do.
Let me see it.
Let me put that up right now.
Look at that. He's
So here's the first one, and if I just go down here, go up, there we go. So it's just going to do different notes there.
now
So again,
Duet is pretty
no-
neat
no.
because what Duet does, this is a very common harmony in most of the models because it only plays two notes. So what happens is we don't take the chance, because a lot of times people will put on an AOC and they'll say it sounds muddy. With AOC, you have to make sure that you're playing on the upper keyboard. You have to play a little bit more on the right side of the keyboard to play. Duet, you have a little bit more flexibility because there's only two notes being played. It's not as full and rich, but it also allows you the opportunity to play a little bit more. You have a more expanded use on the upper keyboard. All right, so you see how that example shows two notes. Now very quickly come back to the organ here and I'll show you an example. Now listen to this. Here's AOC with that same organ sound. Here is duet. Not a strongly noticeable difference, but a difference nonetheless. You notice it was a little thinner sounding. Watch what happens when I put AOC and I play here. Sounds kind of muddy, right? Now watch duet. So duet becomes a little more user-friendly for a lot when you're trying to experiment with harmonies. And then we'll do another example. And I like, you pull up that screen again. This is a great chart. I'm going to have to get that. In fact, I have a feeling Sean, because he's in a good mood today, he's going to give me a copy of this. And so when I send out the email this Saturday, I'll give you a copy of this example chart. Now, I could spend all day on all of these. Some of you have I believe the Easy 10 has octave on it. And that just simply does what it says. Every note you play plays an octave apart. 4-part harmony does what it says. The notes are a little different. There's the 5-part. Is there an open one? Something open AOC or open? Where is that?
It might be. Let me see. Whoop, I got my drawing thing. I didn't put it on this example, but I have it somewhere.
Okay. Now let me show you on the screen. There's another one called open AOC. I mean on the organ here. There's another one called open AOC. Some of the models actually have it as it's called 3-part. Okay. And here's what's cool about that harmony, and it's also a caution. Okay, because some people will use a 3-part and go, "Oh, something doesn't sound right." What an open? I'm going to just turn off the rhythm for a minute and just put on a. Okay, here's just a classic organ sound. All right, easy button. All right, what open does, or 3-part harmony, is here's if I play a C chord and I hold down a G note, it's going to play those two notes. Okay? Now watch. Manually. With AOC. Manually. The same. Okay? What an open harmony does, do I have it on here? Oh, we have an open one. Cool. What open does is it takes the middle note out and it puts it down here somewhere. Now imagine having to do that manually every time. Ouch. That hurts, especially on an angle like this. Whoops. Woo! Okay, now watch if I did it right. Manually. Can you see that? Kind of. I feel like I'm performing acrobatics today here. With one finger. So what happens is when you're playing these songs, using these harmonies are going to do things to make you sound like an actual orchestra, a band, or what have you, with one finger, instead of having to learn those. It literally takes years. I've seen Joni play. I've seen Brian do it. I've seen a lot of Jason do. A lot of times they play these songs, and there's certain songs that they're playing 3 or 4 finger notes with one hand because the song is easier to do it. But it takes years and years of hard practice to be able to do that. Well, now you have a button that says harmony. Or on some of the other models, you have 7 different harmonies or 15 different harmonies, depending on the model. I would use those. Now, one other little tip that I'm going to give you on this, and then we'll take some questions, is if you're one to experiment with harmonies, and you want to experiment in the beginning and not get a bad sound, because there's some things I want to caution you on. If you put on a harmony with banjo, it may or may not work well. Using certain harmonies with certain instruments, just personal preference, don't work well. Certain sounds you have to be careful with. But if you want to start off in experimenting with harmonies, you never go wrong with strings. You never go wrong with the organ tones, some of the softer tones. It's also very common. The next time you're playing on your instrument and you're using song setups and presets and setups, anytime a harmony comes on, take a look at that setup, and what you'll find, this happens a lot. When Bill Curry programmed these, he programmed a lot. So you may have saxophone with a clarinet and some strings, and you know what's happening? The harmonies on the strings, giving it a nice, kind of a full sound, but soothing sound. You'll find that a lot in the big band sounds. You'll find that, here's another great combination. Put piano and strings in a harmony, and the strings giving that nice, full, rich sound while you have the piano. It's a nice complement. So if you want to experiment on your own, try to stick to sounds that you know that may work for you from time to time, okay? Because last thing we want to have happen is you try a harmony and it just doesn't sound good. And it's sometimes not because of the notes it's playing, it's because of the sound that's being used. I would also encourage you to reach out to your personal assistants and ask them, this is your homework. Reach out to your assistant and say, give me one good setup that you like, that you use with a harmony. It could be as simple as, if it was me, I would say use strings with a 4-part harmony and maybe a violin in the solo. And what'll happen is you'll get 4 different string sounds that is just absolutely luscious sounding. So, before I do some announcements and play a final song, does anybody have any questions? Judy, you have your hand up?
Yes, I like to use a flugelhorn or a flute, and I like to use harmonies with it, but it doesn't always work.
Well, my suggestion on that, and I'm going to say the suggestion based on what I've noticed a lot. Flugelhorns and flutes work great with 2-part harmony, a duet. And commonly, even with some strings attached. Now let me see, does the Latin one do that? It has, let's see here. Here, for example, I'm going to put on a Latin style. We'll put on just a Latin guitar. Okay, here's an example. So here is this is a flute. This is the harmony it gave me. I'll actually put on a duet. Here we go. Now I'm going to go a step further. Like I told you, I'm going to add some strings to it. Now watch. In the Latin category, I think some of the models have also, oh, here we go, Mariachis. This is a classic. They've got some horn sounds, trumpet sounds, and flugelhorns in it. And listen. And that's a duet harmony with some strings. So it kind of just falls into play. When you get a sound that you can't find a harmony with, I always say, try adding some strings and maybe change the harmony to a two-part, a duet. It's never going to be perfect, but you might find more success with it. Any other questions?
Jeannie, let's go to Jeannie.
Jeannie? You have to mute yourself, dear.
There you go.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going back to the setups that you were talking about, your song setups, and you mentioned something about playing the introduction and playing, or having the organ play for a few measures, and then shutting the setup off.
Okay. Yeah, let me bet.
The reason I ask is because I've used a song setup for different songs, and I haven't turned anything off. So why were you turning that off?
Say that again. I think we lost Robert, but what was your question again? Start over.
Okay.
I'll answer it.
Okay. When I hit a song setup, he said something about playing the introduction for a few notes and maybe a few measures, and then turn off the setup and then keep on going. But what I've played the setup with a different song, but I didn't turn anything off. So what was the purpose of turning something off?
Well, I think what he might have been saying at some point is when you do the song setup, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
The song setup? Yeah. So you have a button that also says style setup, or if you have a different instrument, it might say rhythm preset. That'll turn off automatically when you put on a song setup, because it's going to set it up for that specific song rather than.
I'm sorry, I'm back.
That's okay. So it'll set it up for that specific song. But if you touch style setup, when you're done playing, the song for the song setup, if you press style setup, it'll give you more sounds to go to. It'll change your sound on your right hand automatically without you having to press a bunch of buttons.
Oh, okay.
I accidentally pulled my internet cord, so I don't know where I jumped in, but
That's okay. I figured that.
but I know how you just explained it, but here's for the song option, just to demonstrate it real quickly. I'm going to find a song.
Oh, there you are. Hold on. Okay, I had to find you so I could spotlight you. You're all the way at the bottom of our class.
All right. So anyway, so here is I'm going through the song list right now, the ones that are actually, and for those of you who have the USB, this applies. So here, and especially those who may have a recording of someone else, not the ones that come with it. So I'm going to find, let me see, how about, okay, here's Love Me Tender, the recorded song that's built into it. And I'm going to play, just to let it play for a couple more notes. Here we go. In fact, I don't even have to let it play the song if I don't want to, but I am. Now I'm going to press stop. Okay? Now here's the most important factor. I'm going to turn off the song button, because if I don't and I start playing again, it may pick up that song. So I'm not going to do that. Now, at this point, that setup for that song that was playing is there, but I don't want to play Love Me Tender. I want to play something totally different. Let me think. Here we go. Now, what I was saying is, you don't even have to let the melody play. You could just get it started momentarily. That's all I need. Press stop, turn off the song button, and play anything you want. Does that answer your question? I hope. All right, one more question. Scooter?
All right, actually, I'm going to ask you two about the same thing.
Oh my goodness, the pressure.
Oh, on the bottom keyboard, I think you said no AOC down there. Do any of the harmonies work down there?
Well, that's not necessarily accurate. It depends on the model, okay? So a lot of the models have harmonies that they always impact the upper keyboard or the right hand, because there's some one keyboard models that actually have, harmony for the right hand. Some of the models have a harmony, a split keyboard, but the harmony does not affect the sounds down here. Okay? That's not necessarily a bad thing. It just means that particular model may not have it. Now, there are some models that actually have, on the upper or lower, you have the same harmony options. I'm going to do this so I don't unplug myself. Here we go. So in this case, this instrument here has a harmony for the upper and the lower. So anything that I've told you about harmonies applies to here and here if it does it. If it doesn't, that's okay. Use your upper keyboard. Which organ do you have, Scooter?
Inspire. So it has what you just said. That's the one.
What I just said is applicable. Right over here, there's a button that says upper and lower right. And all it means is when you press it, you have all, in this case, 12 different harmony choices. You have the same choices for the lower right. You just have to make sure to press it. And to take it a step further, you can do piano and strings up here with an AOC, and on the bottom right, you can put on whatever, saxophones and whatever, and do a duet harmony. It's very common on a lot of the setups. Okay. That answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okie dokie. All right. Well, I'm going to finish up with just a couple announcements, give some reminders here, and then I'll close off with a number without trying to unplug myself here. I opened up on the Freedom 3. I think I'll close on the Easy 10 today. Oh, move over, move over, move over. Okay. So, and maybe I'll use, I think what I'll do, I'm going to put myself on the spot here. I'm going to find a song set up for a song, and then in the moment, I'm going to think of another song to play, and then I'm going to put on a harmony somewhere. Why not, right? So I'll try to play a song and demonstrate the two features that I mentioned today. This week, we have a lot of cool things on the horizon. By the way, I was talking to Sean today, and I asked him, I said, I was thinking of doing the Learn How to Memorize a Song class today, but I didn't have my materials. And he says, no, you got to make that as a special announcement. So stay tuned in. I think I won't have time to do it this month, but sometime next month, I'm going to teach a Learn How to Memorize a Song in less than an hour. By the time I'm done with that class, you'll have everything you need to know to be able to memorize songs like Joni and sound just as good as Joni, if not even better. Oh boy, look at the glare she's giving me there. We don't want to sound as good as Joni. Just kidding.
Yes, we do.
I got to poke a little fun here.
I want them to.
So stay tuned in. I want to do that class. I know some people have done it in the past, and I've always had people say it was very helpful, and sometimes a refresher is good. Anyway, that's down the road. This week, we have some exciting things. I have some, over the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be doing some specialty events, different products, different players, we're going to have Sean's and the Jonies and what have you. They're going to be doing some very specialty things with different groups. They're just going to be random. So stay tuned in. If you get an email, you're going to want to join those if you can. This Friday, our Zoom musical, we have Sean Maloney. Where is Sean? Look at this guy. Look at this handsome young man. Sean Maloney, you started with us about, what, 2 years ago? 10 years ago?
Gosh. So it's somewhere between 2 and 100. I think
Seems like it's been
7 years, I think.
7 years. You play organ when you first started with us?
No, not at all. I
was
played
a guitar player, I believe.
I played a little guitar. It was very small.
So,
very small.
And he's just one of those, like many of the PAs that are with us that start with some other instrument other than keyboard style instrument. And we've had him, he works behind the scenes when he's doing this. He knows the technology very well. Whenever I'm basically lost my patience with trying to help somebody with Zoom and what have you. I say, talk to Sean. But not only that, he's an incredible musician. You've heard him play a song or two here or there, or maybe a couple in a little spotlight. And this Friday, he is doing a full-fledged concert, Zoom musical. So we want you all to come show your support and join us. And I'll tell you, you're going to have fun because he has a whole different selection of music than you typically hear from the other PAs. A couple of you may have heard. Hopefully you play a couple of the songs you've done in the past, plus a whole new selection. So it'll be a lot of fun. And then last but not least, before I play my final farewell song for today, I'm going to be doing the same class tomorrow. I set up the email so everybody gets the same notification. If you want to join again, that's perfectly okay. But we announced in the beginning of the month and last week one of our most massive liquidation sales that we've had in our history, and we have had a lot of students taking advantage. And that particular sale on the extreme discounts is going to end on the 19th. That's a week from now. So what I'm going to do is encourage you to reach out to your PAs and ask them, is there a special on my next organ? Because you'll be very, very, very surprised. And then what we do in turn is we turn around and reinvest on continually evolving our programs and our technology to make our online experience better for you. So all I ask is have an open mind. Now, with that said, I'm going to finish up, and I think what I'll do is I'm going to pick song setup. And let me find a song setup that I typically wouldn't play. Okay. Nope. Let's see. How about... I'm going to find a song. Where did it go? I went past it.
It's in alphabetical
Okay.
order.
Here, huh?
I said they're in alphabetical order.
I know they're in alphabetical order. Thank you very much for that, Sean. And he's also a very smart when it comes to song setups and telling me how to use this feature. So he's he's a multi-talented person. There's a lot of songs that he typically don't play, and no, I probably would play that one. Here's one. Okay. It says, I left my heart in San Francisco. Now, I demonstrate the song a lot, but I don't typically play the song. So I'm going to hit select. And what it did is it gave me a guitar swing style with an accordion on the top keyboard, which I'm typically not an accordion fan. So what I'm going to do is change that to just a nice, big, rich organ sound. And let's see here. And I'll put on the piano here. And then while I'm playing, I'll reach up and hit the harmony so you could hear that. But I'm not going to play I Left My Heart in San Francisco. I'll play something else. I have no idea what I'm going to do until the introduction plays. So here we go. Why, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We hope you enjoyed the class today. And if you have any farewell parting words of wisdom or kind things to say, it's always good for us to hear kind things. I hope you enjoyed the class today. Thank you so much. And I'll just remain on for a few seconds.
Thank you.
Eileen.
Thank you.
Good
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you very much.
Good job.
Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Thank
Judy.
Thank you.
Great class, Robert.
Maybe we'll see you
Thank
tomorrow.
you, Robert.
Thank you. Use harmonies. Harmony, harmony, harmony.
Thank you, Robert.
Song set up.
Okay. Bye for now.
Oh, wait, I got to do this for my final.
Oh, wait.
Keep playing music. Stay safe. And mwah.
Take care.